Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. It's Wednesday, and I don't know about you, but the problem fairy did not come to my house last night again and take away all my problems and leave me a quarter. I think that's what we as a nation are waiting for, the problem fairy. It can get pretty depressing reading and watching the news. There's only so many stories featuring yellow tape and flashing lights that a man can take, or people in Washington that a man can watch. What we're facing seems to be have an inevitable outcome, but it does not. But look at the news today. The Financial Times is reporting we are rapidly approaching a tipping point in oil. The IEA says oil prices, quoting, are entering a dangerous zone for the global economy. We've talked on this program before about how important oil is in our day-to-day life. It's in everything, from plastics to sewing machines, everything. But it plays even a bigger role with the economy than most people will realize. Do you remember when the housing market collapsed? It wasn't just because people there, all of a sudden went, oh, I can't pay for my house and I didn't really have a job. People bought houses that were too far out of their budget. The housing market began to collapse at the beginning of 2008. But what else was happening at the beginning of 2008 that caused people to not be able to afford their house? Oil prices. We just put these two together. January 2nd, 2008, oil was $99 a barrel, about where we're headed now. It would eventually hit more than $140 a barrel. Is that a coincidence? When oil prices go up, you can afford less. Obviously, we couldn't sustain it. Now, why would we expect it to be any different this time around? We could, again, close all of our eyes and go like, oh, the problem fairy is coming maybe tonight. And that seems exactly like what Europe is doing. They just had a 2.2% spike in their annual inflation, but the Central Bank of Europe said, don't worry about it, okay? Because their inflation, and this is a quote, they're only experiencing inflation with higher prices of food, oil, and other commodities. Oh, well, that makes me feel so much better. I thought it was something, that the prices were going up was something necessary for, basic human survival. And that would cause a problem. Silly me. Oh, did the problem fairy show up again? It's only a matter of time before we experience the same thing that is happening in Europe with inflation and everything else. Today, headline from Bloomberg, world food prices jump on record on sugar, grain, and oilseed costs. Okay, you've known about this. You watch this program. So now what? Now what? It's interesting because I find myself let me give you this. Imagine if you were on a plane and a stewardess announced, ladies and gentlemen, all the pilots ate fish for dinner and they are barfing in the cockpit like you can't believe, and they're incapacitated. We're going to crash. I'll get back to you in a few minutes. Thanks for flying. Okay? I don't think, A, the passengers would just sit there. But B, what about the steward or stewardess? What role do they play? I kind of find myself in the role of the flight attendant saying every few minutes, yep, they're still barfing in the cockpit. I mean, that's not helping, really. I think that's what I would be saying to the steward. That's not helping us. What should we do about it? That's not the role I'm going to play. I'm going to say, buckle your seatbelts, prepare for a crash landing, and I'll say, well, here are the exits, and here's what, I think we should do. But really, it is up to the passengers. That's really who makes the difference. Last night I introduced a long-term solution, E4. I'll show you more about this tonight, but I'm going to show it to you in context of the news and what is happening in the news. This year, our goal is to challenge you to radically change your life. Start a personal revolution in your own life, because changing in the world is just too big to bite off. Changing what you can yourself will change the world. And I know it to be true because you already have with the tea parties. E4 will get you started down that path, tied to the news now. Hello, America. If anybody's keeping track, and believe me, some people are, and that's why you never see, this reported. Our predictions on this program are pretty good, except for the dates or timing. But the general direction, because it's not hard. I am a rodeo clown, brother. It just takes common sense to see it, and you do. I think 2011, I said that 2010 was going to be a year of miracles, and I believe that happened in 2010. I think those miracles actually happened. 2011 is going to be pivotal. Things are changing. On August 28th, things changed, I think, and it was just part of the Tea Party. I mean, I think it changed. The same thing holds true this time around. And I can't tell you how excited I am for the new year, and not because of what we're doing, because this was not about anyone who spoke up here. This was all about these people. It's you. The secret to success, it is not, remember this, it is not about politicians or personalities or presidents or parties. It's about people. You. You are what give people power, and it is all up to you. While those people get power and then they tell you that you don't have any power, they're wrong. And that's why you freak them out so much. This is going to be your year, much more than last year was. Even though I think the problems are going to start to seem really crushing. We've been showing you all the radicals operating in the cover of darkness and all the falsehoods and the lies they tell. And it may seem overwhelming. Again, at least it is to me, because I'm the stewardess going, yep, we're still crashing because they're still barfing. I mean, but it's the passengers. It's the passengers that matter at a time like that. It is, quite honestly, Todd Beamer. Let's roll. It's the passengers that make the difference. Last night we showed you some words from some of these radicals and progressives, and Francis Fox Piven, who has called for violence in the past.
It's when elections interact with powerful, disruptive, unruly movements from the bottom of the society through their ability to refuse to cooperate with important institutions by striking, for example, or by blockading the streets, or by shutting down the schools. At those moments, we have had important changes and progressive changes in American society. And I began with the American Revolution.
Okay, this is what they're doing over in Europe. Now, this is not an isolated quote from, a crazy person when she was 20. She still believes it's the same thing today. I think was that Mark 2008? But here she is recently giving the okay for violence back in June of this year. Watch this.
So probably, unless you have good reason for breaking the window, probably you shouldn't do that.
Listen.
Unless it's, a big part of your strategy.
Don't break the window. No violence. You probably shouldn't do that. Pause, pause, pause. Let me clarify. Unless it's a big part of your strategy. That is important for you to hear and understand. Your friends, I had never heard of Francis Fox Piven really until, a couple of years ago, and people will dismiss her as, she's no big deal. She's just a college professor, etc., etc. Well, that's what the left needs you to do. Dismiss her, dismiss them, dismiss Van Jones, all of them. Well, she's a nobody. Well, she's not, but I'll get to that in a minute. You have a choice. You can live in a bubble, and you can dismiss and say it's not going to be a bigger problem, or you can save the republic. I know who you are. Last night, I laid out the focus of this program, and it centers around this, E4. What is this? Well, you'll see. Enlightenment, education, empowerment, entrepreneurship. Who are you? What is the truth of our history? What power do you have? And what are you going to do with it? I'm going to be focusing everything I do in the next year on this. It's multi-layered. Quite honestly, I believe it is the solution to what we're facing. Because the solution, this whole thing is about you. It is about the individual. And I don't mean, like, when I say, it's about the individual, I don't mean, some mythical Republican or Democratic candidate in 2012. I mean you. You sitting right there watching this program. You're the answer. Are you the person that you were meant to be? Or are you the person that you've kind of just allowed yourself to become? All of our problems seem so huge. They're global in nature. I mean, how do you, come on, really, fix the debt and the deficit? How do you do that? Something that keeps coming to mind is the old story. A man decided he was going to change the world, but he wasn't successful. He decided to change the country, but he wasn't successful. He decided to change the community, but he wasn't successful. He decided to change the street, and he failed there. He decided to change the family, he failed there. So he decided, I'm just going to change myself. He was successful. And because he changed himself, his family changed. And they affected the street. And the people on the street affected their community, and the people in the community affected their country, and the people of the country affected the world. It may seem like you just doing what you were meant to be, meant to do. You're here for a reason. It may seem meaningless, but it's not. And those on the left know it. But they, you know the old phrase, oh, if you would only use it for good instead of evil, what could they accomplish? What has the leftist confused right now? You. They see how bad things are on the ground, and yet you're taking to the street peacefully like tea parties, but you're not rioting like they are in Europe. You should be rioting. Don't you know that? They can't figure out why you're not doing this. Well, the answer is simple. America is great because America is good. You're good.